Well, hello people, and welcome back to part 20 of Rannoch. I hope you're all having a wonderful day. And you join me looking over the developments we made last episode in the Transit Hub on the precipice of the next milestone, which is so close. I was kind of hoping as I started the recording it would pop, but either way, let's have a little look at what's happened off camera. So I've grown Ashby Gardens out. This is the European low-density suburb we set up a few episodes ago. It's just now growing out here across those residential frames we set up, with various parks and whatnot in between. Come on, we need 5 people. There it is. Finally. And we hit Metropolis, which gives us a new tile, which is what we're going to be playing with today. And then our next tile after that is only 14,000 population away. And then that's going to unlock, well, on the PC it's 81 tiles, but we will do 25 first, which is tremendously exciting. So let's get this open. So it's going to be this one here. This is finally going to allow us to connect some really key roads. And then I think beyond that, we'll probably turn our attention to this coastline here. Because the 4 downtown tiles, is basically this coastline, isn't fully unlocked yet. So I don't really want to start the downtown project without having the full buildable space available. Regardless, this is extremely exciting. All of these roads we've had dead for so many episodes now can finally be connected. So let's move into a little road time lapse and then we'll see what the traffic is like through here. Finally. It feels like it has been years since I wanted this road connected, and now it finally is. Going to take some traffic. Of course, off of the other roads that are heading on the other side of the highway, they finally now have another way around. But either way, in today's episode, as the title probably says, we're going to work on a zoo. I asked you guys what should sit near this bus transfer facility last episode, and the overwhelming idea was a zoo, and I think we've got a really interesting landscape to work around with here. With the river flowing through the park, which will be a really nice feature. We've never done a kind of through river zoo before, have we? So that should be a lot of fun. And we're finally going to be able to bring this BRT system that's been elevated all the way back from Darshland Plaza, which is the other side of the city, in to converge with this stop here. So I think that's where we'll begin. So we can allow it to turn around. Let's go ahead and grab our bus roads. So we'll have this one leave from here. And where do we want to carry the elevation onto? I imagine we're going to have the BRT system also passing through the park, which we will actually hook in to the park itself so people can essentially take the bus to the zoo. But we won't hook it in at first because obviously we want the park to level up so we can actually unlock the assets. So let's bring this down and we'll just do a straight connection here into the guideline. That should be okay. And now let's grab our bus. So all the way from here, this can finally stop. Of course, there'll be more stops around here as well once things get built. And I'm happy with you there. Which way do we want you to go? I think that'll be okay, won't it? But because this bus is passing by another stop, do we want to move that one to there? I think we do. That way they won't stop on top of each other. We'll kind of use this through road in the middle as a bit of a turnaround loop. So that should be okay. And then let's not forget to add the stop back that we just stole. That stops at the baseball stadium. Do we want to actually alternate the stops? I suppose we could, couldn't we? That'll be fine. So now you lot should go all the way down there. Wonder how many buses that's going to pull out onto the road. Actually, it'll probably add a few more, won't it? But either way, I'm happy with that. There's already one here as well. Really interested to see how busy this gets now. We've got really long haul bus transit in place. Heading all the way back through. And then down into here. And now with the other public transport, we do have trams. Not to get distracted from the zoo, we will start it, I promise. But I think it's probably a wise idea to bring trams down here now to probably converge with this stop over here. Maybe even all the way down to the trolley buses, which are down here as well. I think that's a future project. Don't want to get too excited today. Either way, let's paint out an enormous park area. So it'll pretty much fill this space. So we've got this 4-lane road that connects into the national roads and also comes from the baseball stadium as well. I don't think I want to cross this over the river. I think I'd rather people take that route over there, and we'll probably add a through route onto that road from here as well. But either way, let's get started with the park. So let's draw up some frames to hold some car parking. Always a nice aesthetic, and then we'll have a little through road here. We want to be saving at least 4 tiles for those vanilla car parking units. That should be okay. Let's get those in front and center. Fantastic. And let's do a slightly more tropical tree while we're in a zoo. Maybe the Lala palm. We never use this tree at all, do we? How do the Bobabs look on the Yeah, they look ridiculous. We're not going to do that. Fantastic. So let's place our zoo gate down here. So I think we'll have a couple of entrances in. We'll be able to access the zoo from this side, and this side as well. So we'll have, I think, our main gate over here, which won't align with the middle, which does bug me. So we will just create a new grid orientation for that. Fantastic. So we can have that there. That's going to be great. Nice little zoo entrance. And now we do have, I'm not sure how far we want to take it. We probably don't want to go to, well then again, the lions are level 5 on the rhinos. I was thinking we probably don't need the sea life enclosure, but that's only level 3, so never mind, we will end up taking this to level 5. So let's begin with some initial path networking. So straight out the zoo, I'd love to cross over the river. Really want to make sure we try and factor the river into the park as much as possible today. And then we probably will create some walkable tunnels here, and then off of this path network is where we can start to connect this elevated BRT into the park. But as I said, we'll do that at probably towards the time lapse, because I don't want people getting into the park for free. So we can level it up. Let's bring that in here too, and shatter a couple of segments. You can go through, we'll develop a gate over there at some point as well. Really looking forward to developing what will probably be some really interesting kind of ramp configurations as we get people stopping on and off of this BRT system. So that's one pathway taken care of there. Can we come straight out the side here? We can. We'll have that. We'll also do the same down this side as well to hold some more enclosures. And then let's just feed you straight across here. The humpbacks that generate with these bridges are pretty mental. I don't mind it for pedestrian bridges. It's a little over the top, I think, for a road bridge. Although you do get humpback bridges, I suppose, in the real world. But I guess we can live with it. Let's draw these out here, and then let's really start framing this river with the pathways. Yeah, something like that's going to look really cool, isn't it? I reckon we'll keep that mimic of the shoreline happening around here as well. Bring a straight piece off of this bottom bridge segment. Very cool indeed. Really like that. We'll see if we can do something with the island as well, maybe a bit of a viewpoint. It's a little bit small though, isn't it? So let's get our first enclosure in. We'll kind of develop a bit of a cafe spot around the front, I think. So we'll first place down our moose and reindeer enclosure. Let's have this one. Maybe just up by the water here. So we'll have that one there. And then let's grab some pathways to hook into the path networks that already exist around it. And to that extent, I think should be okay. Happy with that. Thankfully all the trees are going to blend in with us as well, with it being so boreal. And then we also have the birdhouse, which is one of my favourite park assets actually. How about we have you just slightly disconnected from the pathway on this corner there. Don't really want the snapping mechanic to kick in. But that's going to be wonderful. I'm happy with that. Now let's get our next one down, which will be the last one before level 2. Which is going to be the antelope enclosure, which I think would make sense to have it nearby to the moose and reindeer, doesn't it? I guess they're kind of the same sort of genus of animal, I suppose. Not that I am any kind of zoologist, but 4 legs with horns seems pretty similar, doesn't it? And I think with this one, we'll just push the path out up at a angle here, and then we'll shift that right up into the corner. Something like that, I think. That should be pretty cool. Fantastic. Where are our values? We also have... Yeah, so that's the entertainment level. We just now have to wait for the visitors. In order to encourage those visitors, I did mention I would like some further entrances into this. So I think nearby toward the metro station is going to be a good shout, isn't it? Why don't we see if we can frame this? Let's bring a road up the side and then out this way as well. And then let's grab another park entrance here. Let's do... Well, we can only do the side gate now anyway, can't we? And I'll probably keep the centralization going just because we've done it on one gate. It would make sense to do it on the others. There we go. And then let's get these pathways hooked in. Not sure where we'll take the zoo up to. I guess this entire space in the border of the river is probably where we'll end up using. Going to be a fairly large zoo, I think. You can come off down here and connect him with another gate over there. And I probably don't want the traffic light here either, so we'll also turn this off. There we go. Fantastic. And this should hopefully start pulling some people into the metro line now as well. And we're already getting plenty of people parked over here as well, which is fantastic. Cool. So I think I'll do another gate over here, but otherwise I will see you at level 2 once we hit the 500 required visitors. I'll tell you what we will do as well. Let's go ahead and put some advertisement campaigns, so we'll do 20% more visitors. And we'll also do animal ethics as well. There's a boost entertainment value. Wonderful. I'll see you at level 2. And here we are at level 2, where we grab the bison, the insect amphibian reptile house, and the tarsier house, which is always such an incredibly traumatizing asset, isn't it? So if we go in 4 legs and horns over here, let's put the bison over here too. So if we can line it up with that pathway there, that would be tremendous. Something to that extent, I think. Hopefully that'll line up. Pretty much okay. Happy with that. And then this is another asset that has the paths included around it, so it's going to make sense to tie off this area here to make sure we are fully terraformed up with the BRT, so there's no encroachment there. That should be good. And then we'll grab the pathway, stick the guideline on as well. Up to there. That should box that area off nicely. Room for either some detailing or smaller enclosures in here. We'll see what we can pack in. That's that one down. Let's also do the insect and reptile house, which I think would be quite nice here. So why don't we see if we can move that around. It isn't perfectly level, is it? What are we at here? 5, 3 and 3. Let's keep that going then. We'll respect this kind of little centralization. And then we'll throw this down into the middle of it, which is about there, I think, is it? Yeah, I think I'll be happy with that. Then we can bring the smaller pathways up and around it. There we go. That'll do it quite nicely. And then we have the tarsier house, which is always worth a look, I think, isn't it? Is there a place we can squeeze this in? Where do we want to have this? Maybe we'll start developing some smaller spaces on the sort of interior edge of the zoo. And we'll have the tarsier house here. I was wondering, do we want to actually maybe consider doubling up some of the assets to kind of just expand their footprint a little bit, maybe? Let's see if we can arrange a position there. So they're right in together. But that'll work. And then we can probably box those in around the side. And then come in there as well. yeah, I think that works nicely back to back there, doesn't it? Makes it look like kind of one larger enclosure, which is always nice. Fills the footprint we have to use here a little bit. That brings us way over our entertainment value. And then also here, just in there, I just did the same thing we did at the car parking. With this area over here, we do have some nice little spots here, actually, I reckon. The little zoo restrooms just next to the car park after a long journey would probably be quite nice, wouldn't it? We'll have that there as well. And then otherwise, I'll see you at level 3 in just under 2,000 visitors time. And welcome to level 3 everyone, where we have the flamingos, our small, very pink birds. And then we also have the elephants as well, the opposite of flamingos really, isn't it? So these are larger enclosures, so I reckon we can start placing this side of the river now. So unfortunately, we can't place side gates on the pedestrian roads, which is incredibly irritating. Really annoys me that. Really wish we could. So I think we'll turn this stretch of pedestrian road into actual road so we can accommodate a gate as part of the BRT hub. So let's try and work with that. So we'll obviously try to keep it a bus themed road, so probably 4-lane with bus roads is the way to go. And where do we want this? Here. So let's create a node there. Everything to the right can become that bus road. Now hopefully our side gate will play nicely there, I think. That should work out alright. And then with this, we can just go straight up into the road or the pathway. And then we will do something with here. So with this one, the elephant enclosure, in that theme of trying to keep the zoo, well, the BRT as part of this design, I think we'll draw out a pathway in this grid if we turn off our guideline. Obviously, we don't want to leave that connected because they'll get in for free, which they will have eventually with the BRT, but for right now, I would rather than pay. How do I feel about that? So this way, if you like, the fence of the zoo is like right up against the stops here. But then I guess maybe the elephants could like pick people up over the fence here, couldn't they? But I always forget these kind of cloth elephants, like Elmo, aren't they? It's not Elmo, is it? Elmo the elephant. Elmo's the Muppet, isn't he? That is not the right animation. So I think we'll have that there, but let's leave it a tile or two away from the BRT. So let's save maybe half a tile actually. I think it should be okay. I'm being very pedantic there, but I think it'll be worth it. And then we can just have this hook in. Let's use this one as a snap point. Guess we want to have it about, and we can hook it in. And then we'll probably fence all this off as well, because it does obviously look like they can just walk into that right now. So let's grab the park fence, and then we'll run this down here, I think. Let's also turn off that angle snap as well. And then we'll just send it up to the bollards for right now. I think that should be a really cool position. Really see it from the road then, can't you? Then this build really flows into that zoo. So I think I'll be happy with that. That should be cool. And then next up is our flamingos, which I think, due to their, I guess, water-based bird nature, would work quite nicely in and around the river. So why don't we have this one hooked into this little pocket? And then where can we come out from here? Let's just do a little bit of road length and angle. Then we can start to blend that into the BRT. And we do have some terrain kind of pushing there, where it's pushing the riverbank out, but we'll be able to blend that in with rock work and overgrowth and whatnot, I think. So I'll be happy with that. And then let's bring this one up, and then we can do a little picnic area here or something. That should be quite nice. And then we're not placing the sea life enclosure, at least not here, and we can maybe include it as part of a riverfront park build along the strait at some point, but not here. And that will take us already up to the next entertainment level with the addition of the elephants. And then we'll be back at 5,000 visitors. And as we arrive at level 4, we can now start placing some giraffes, which I think would be really cool, next to the BRT system, almost as though the giraffes can kind of poke their heads up and look at the people on the bus, which I think would be a pretty cool kind of zoo feature, wouldn't it? kind of, you know, you're passing by the zoo when you look out the bus window and see giraffes. Hopefully that aesthetic comes into play if we were to get down to ground level on the BRT. Oh, the bus is even orange as well, isn't it? Which is nice. I wonder if the giraffes think the bus is some kind of reverse giraffe rather than being really tall. Buses are very long, aren't they? There they go. But I think that comes off pretty nice, doesn't it? See the giraffes from the bus line there? Very nice indeed. Let's give these a path connection. Hopefully it's going to be nice and easy. I'll probably bring the path network down here, up alongside and behind our elephant friends, and we can get some props in here and whatnot, perhaps some smaller enclosures. And then the next one is the Monkey Palace, which might actually go in perfectly there, right? So let's get that in too. Actually wonder, do we want to have the same vibe here with the monkeys if we were to have it facing there? Just to have another enclosure visible from the BRT is the point here, which I think we will do. I think I'm happy with that. And then we'll box that one up. More room for detailing in here. And that should already satisfy the demands. Yes, it does. 10,000 visitors now, but we have hit the entertainment value. And then we'll be able to place our final two enclosures, which will be the rhinos and the lions. Whilst that does happen, let's also address the road situation around here. So with trams and buses now going to continue down this way, it's going to make sense to have this one here. Now, I would like to keep the tram turnaround point, but we'll probably have to change the network configuration here because it doesn't make sense with this carrying on now. But we do have buses coming down here, and trams will also continue pretty much down to the power plant. So the trams will carry on, which means we can now fall down into a tram road with tracks. Now this is cycling as well, isn't it? So let's take 4-lane trams and cycling down here. Again, this will be a future development project for those trams, but a little reminder here, because I don't know how we're going to converge trolleybuses and trams, because these two networks can't intersect with each other, because they're both using wires. So whatever ends up being over here is going to include a tram and trolleybus interchange, which will be a bit of a challenge. But right now, we'll just do a tram turnaround point so we can have the trams flowing. But that's obviously, of course, all very temporary. And then with the road that comes out of the BRT, this can now become bus. And then this way, this intersection really diverges the transit. Trams, buses and cycling all join together to head deep into downtown. And then here the buses split off to their BRT network. And then the trams and the cycling can carry on down into what will be outer line suburbia, essentially. That's the plan. We'll see how that works. Let's head back to this junction here. So the trams will still turn out of that point. It just doesn't really make a lot of sense for them to come back in and turn around, does it? I think I can probably live with it. I think because I do like this design. Let's grab this stop. He's going to come all the way down to the Brooklyn Queens district at Bright Heights. It can stop there. Definitely stop again. Hey, can we stop on the bridge? Have we always been able to do that in CS? I did not know we could place... Maybe because it's this type of road. I thought forever we couldn't place transit stops on bridges. Am I misremembering that? I have absolutely no idea. That's very much confused me. Regardless, we'll also have a tram stop here. And here by the metro station. And then let's not forget to add the stop back in here as well. So you can see how it'll turn around. Don't hate it. And then I won't send the tram back into the loop there. Maybe we can actually treat this as another tram goes off in a different direction at some point, so this will become a tram interchange, but that's a future project way down the line yet. And then with the stop coming back this way, where do we want you? There's one already down there, and there's already one here with the bus as well, isn't there? So let's add it onto this block here, I think. Just by the hotel. We'll see how that works. Imagine we're going to get quite a few new trams out of that depot now, are we? Yes, we are. There we go. So they will take a little bit of time to stagger out, but either way, that's a big public transport infrastructure expansion. Hopefully we'll see some people beginning to pick this up as well. 21 people there. Although he didn't stop there, did he? Not sure why. Maybe just double check they are actually stopping here before we move on. Okay, well it's working. Either way, I'll see you at zoo level 5. And finally, we arrive at level 5, which gives us the rhinos. So let's go ahead and get these guys in. While we do have the bigger enclosures, I think it'd be more suited over this side. Where we do have a little bit of space available. I think I'll work with this, although I'm not super happy with the angle in here. So let's just slightly rework what's going on. We'll grab our zoo pathways with the trees. And that come off pretty much at that angle, I think. And then let's get our rhinos in next door. That should be cool. We are starting to look at height discrepancies here as well, so we should be careful with what's going on, but it's not too insane. We'll also hook that pathway back in as well, although probably best off just to redraw it. There we go. And then our last animals are the lions, which we can find a nice space for, I'm sure. I think I've given myself too much room here. I'm probably going to rework the gate during the time lapse and push it up to basically here, and then use the BRT road as a bit of a border for the zoo, I think. So with that in mind, let's have our lions. We'll try throw in some slightly different angles here. Can we get them in this way? Because this is one of the assets with the paths wrapped around it. That way we're at a little bit of a different orientation. We can hook that in there, and then that can go into there, I think. And then we can use that little layer of height for our advantage. I think we'll have that in. And that should do rather nicely. Either way, that does feel like a good place for what is going to be a pretty mega detail in time lapse. You've got lots of space to fill here with all the little cafes and restrooms and souvenir shops. Tons of fence and tree work to do around the edge. And it will also develop another elevated BRT stop in a pretty similar design to what we did over here, where we have the pedestrian road, where we can have those stops then. And we'll see just how much traffic that takes out of the zoo itself. But either way, let's do some detailing. And then we'll be right back. Right guys, let's have a little detailed review around the zoo, shall we, which has been named as well, by the way, after one of our wonderful patrons, Cherry Bombs. We now have Cherry Zoo. Thank you for all your support, Cherry. You are a secret blend of the old herbs and spices. Beyond that, we have possibly one of the busiest zoos, or busiest park areas we've ever created. There's tons of people moving through this. A lot of detailing around the open space with bush lining, trees and rocks, playgrounds and tables where possible. And then just a bit of nice green space to sit and enjoy the river and the surrounds of, I think, if it's a bold enough statement to say, is one of my favourite zoos. Palaven's was up there in the European area, that was really nice, but this is a different level. Around the river we have lots of overgrowth and fencing to stop people from stumbling in, and then a little bit of rock work toward the flamingo enclosure down here as well. With more buildings in here, tables, bins, signposts and whatnot. There's more enclosures, another tarp and another birdhouse here. With more benches leading up to that big BRT stop here. Now I think this is actually helping the zoo get busier. Although people aren't paying to get into the zoo via this method, which I'm not really bothered about. But a lot of people are actually entering the zoo to take the bus. So they're kind of paying twice. Which I'm absolutely fine with. But it's working absolutely wonderfully. Did end up repositioning this gate out the front, so it just works a little bit more with the pathway. I think we just gave ourselves too much room. So this sits nicely against the arterial now. You can kind of peer through the tree line to see the zoo entrance there, with tons of people coming through this side gate. Over this way, we have our park maintenance building. I just thought it would tie in quite nicely just on the outskirts of the park here. So we have that in now. And again, lots of people moving back up to this row here. Toward this way we dropped in some city park assets, including a cafe with some extra tables, trampoline parks, child's playgrounds, and then some more closer prop detailing around here with a lot of kind of balance benches, more tables, chairs, sandpits, slides, swings, and everything that makes the children happy, etc. Down here we have a little bit of a maintenance building using some industrial props. Had a really awkward corner. No asset would go in here, so use some of the Railroad of Japan branch assets almost as they keep kind of tools, feed, whatever it is a zoo needs to store, can all be kind of put in this back maintenance area, and then just bent the fence out almost like it is a gate that closes, so it's obviously kind of a private staff area of the zoo, if you like, with containers, props, and all the things we love and know. Heading down toward this side, the BRT transfers facility is now just super busy. So many people walking here. We dropped in a car park next to that road, which allowed us to hold the main gate to really blend this whole area together. Look at that. Isn't that one of the most walkable parks we've ever had? Pretty mental. It's just constant all day. It's absolutely a pleasure to watch. More detailing around here with benches and souvenir shops around the elephant, rhino and lion enclosures before that pathway does cross back over into another antelope enclosure. I ended up removing the embankment here and just having the full bridge run, where it does then go off and down this way, of course into the rest of the city. And then we'll kind of use this BRT system as a bit of a border for a build. We've got a lot more space now with that tile opening up if we dare to examine it. So we've got all this space to fill, which will just grow out with what we have around here. This space as well, and we do have a little bit of mountaintop available to us, and we possibly could actually introduce another river coming down here. I think it probably makes sense given what we've already done with the deltas over here, wouldn't it? So I think we'll certainly keep these terraforming projects going as that opens up, but that'll be 25 tile space, I believe. And then the buses, not the buses, the trams are getting a little bit of use through here. This metro is not too busy, but the one a little bit further down is getting a bit of ridership. And the trams are also helping to support that as well. But a really fun build, and it is a pleasure to finally have that tile open. So I'll tell you what, let's have a look. So this road is moving much more freely now, thanks to that extra road coming in. If you remember from those following the series, this road was constantly back. It wasn't backing up, it wasn't moving, it was just extremely busy. Because this road here was the only way across the highway. Now it's not. They can get elsewhere in the city now without having to cross over the highway again. And of course, it's all supported with public transport as well. And we'll definitely try configure a tram trolleybus interchange as well, because obviously mentioned these two networks can't intersect. So that should be a pretty unique transport interchange tied into this area, I think. And how are we doing down here as well on that metro stop we changed out last episode? This should be a pretty busy one. Yeah, 309, and there's just tons of people picking up the transit around this part of the city now. Of course, which is all helping to take pressure off of those roads. But either way, a tremendously fun build today. Let's thank you all so much indeed for watching, and a huge shout out To the patrons that support the channel, with a special roll call to Andrew Perez and Oh Hey Casino. If you'd like to get a little bit more egg in your diet, there's early access to Rannoch previews, podcasts, and lots more over on the Patreon if you're interested, so head over there and check it out if it's something you want to do. But regardless, this is one of my favourite park areas I think we've ever done in the years we've been making videos together. So I hope you have managed to find it inspirational and managed to have a little bit of fun watching a really unique zoo with the river coming through it, the BRT system finally coming to completion, at this big bus transfer hub with trams and metro also knocking about as well. Either way, please do enjoy some cinematics, but I will shut up and leave it there. Let's thank you all so much indeed for watching, and as always, enjoy the rest of your day.
You